What's going on, Internet? The Black Hokage here, aka TBH, and to be honest, I'd like to welcome you guys back to the Game and Illuminaughty podcast. We are the Enlightened Gamers, and you're now tuned into episode 146. If you're watching the video version of the show at youtube.com/GI Updates, know this show is available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and all other major podcast platforms. Be sure to rate the show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. We need your 5-star rating so that we can move up in that algorithm and bring in new potential listeners. Also, follow the podcast on social media. We drop daily content on our social media pages. We are available on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Our handle for every platform is at GI Updates. If you're watching the video version, there will be links in the description box below. Now, without further ado, allow me to introduce you to my co-hosts. The first of which recently purchased a $300 fight stick, but I have yet to see him pull off a full combo in Street Fighter. Who knows? Maybe he's just waiting for Mortal Kombat 1 to learn one when it drops this week. Which, by the way, that's the reason we're not going to be talking about it, because when we're recording, it's about to drop this week, so next podcast. Anyways, y'all might know him as JG. I know him as UTX, Target Combo with the Don. Say what up to the people.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Look, man, there's been way too many games out. Armor Core 6 came through. We got Starfield.
So you don't deny what I just said.
Crazy September.
You bought a $300 fight stick, still ain't done a combo. That's crazy.
I'm waiting on Mortal Kombat. You just said it.
Yeah, this nigga's a liar, man.
But look, man, we know why we here. We know why we're here. I'm here for one thing and one thing only, to shit on the 2K community. So I will talk about nothing else until we get there. All right? I will talk about nothing else. Nothing else matters. All right?
Oh, shit. We gonna get spicy this episode.
Yeah.
My second co-host, he recently completed a run on Armor Core 6. So you would think we would get a release date for his game Samurai Zero now that he's got some free time to work on it. But nope, he started New Game Plus on it. So he's playing more Armor Core 6. Ultra Instinct Nerd Gaming Ethos. Say what up to the people.
What's up, everybody? You can't take this away from me. I've been waiting to play a game like this in a long time because I can't get Titanfall. So this is my second best choice. So I'll take it.
Friendly reminder before we get into the show, join our Discord at discord.gg/GI Updates. It's totally free. Also, big shout out to some of our Discord members, the premium ones at least. That's one of the perks of joining the Discord. Link in the description box below if you want to join it. Big shout out to Jet Set Row, Afro Prinny, and Trey Smooth. There's a bunch of other perks for joining. Totally free, but premium members, you guys get giveaways for games. We just gave away a copy of Armor Core 6. We're doing consultations. We just did a watch party for the UFC fight. Also, we just did a tournament last month for Street Fighter 6. What's the name? $500 went to the winner. It was crazy. Shout out to Elder Goose who won the tournament. If you did not actually see that stream, it's on my Hokage highlights, the full 5-hour stream. Aren't you cooking up another tournament for the Discord, Ethos?
Yes, I'm working on an Armor Core PvP tournament. I'll be announcing it early next week just because I'm just getting some things figured out. I did some testing. The PvP works good. So if you're into it, you're more than welcome. I would highly recommend that at least you beat the game first so you have the same access to the same parts as everyone else does. It will be 1v1 focused.
Super nerdy. Yeah, that's all for our community. Discord.gg/GI Updates. There will be a link in the description box below. Also, before we get into the show, freebies on PlayStation for the month of September 2023. You can get a free copy of Generation Zero, Black Desert Online, and Saints Row, the reboot. And since we're on the topic of PlayStation Plus, I thought we'd kick off with a little bit of this news. I felt like this one went a little bit under, maybe because everybody was, well, I don't say everybody, maybe because the Sony ponies were too busy dick eating Starfield. I felt like this one went a little bit under the radar. PlayStation Sony ponies, for those of you unaware, there's going to be a big price hike coming for PlayStation Plus. So in order to get those shitty free games like Generation Zero and Saints Row, it's going to cost you upwards of $20 to extra $40 a year. So the $79 one, I mean the $59 one went to $79, the $100 went to $134, and then the $120 went to $160. What's that doing for you, Ethos?
I don't pay for that. So nothing.
You get it. You want to play Ape Escape 2 on their library of games and Siphon Filter?
Nope. I don't play multiplayer on the PlayStation, so
you don't hit on them games though, but I'm not playing it on this program.
Yeah, I was like, that's crazy. You know what's like really scummy about this? And I think one of the reasons, jokes aside, I think one of the reasons why this one kind of went under the radar is because they announced this. It was at the end of their recent PlayStation blog. They hit it at the bottom, the price hike. So then it took like, major publications to actually point out that like, yo, you guys might have missed that. So just be aware that it is going to cost a little bit extra money to play PlayStation Online if you care about those type of things. And then as for the Xbox freebies, actually September marks the first month that things will actually change. So you won't be getting monthly free games. So I probably won't be reporting on Xbox too much more. Instead, they're changing to the Xbox Core membership or whatever. So there's like 25 games that you can download at any time. And there's some quality games on there like Gears 5 and stuff like that. Look up the list in your own damn time. So yeah. Starting this month, you can actually download those core Game Pass games at any point. I think they're shuffling the games like every few months, so that's something to play if you're a brokey and you're subscribed to the Xbox Gold stuff. All right, let's get into the lead conversations for episode 146. Since the last podcast, several major video games have came out, and the crazy part is the next podcast, even more games will be coming out because, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of what some of your favorite content creators say, gaming is not stale right now. It's more prominent than ever. Sales are through the roof. We're seeing record-breaking numbers for certain games on Steam and Xbox and PlayStation. If you don't have nothing to play, I honestly don't think you like games that much. And that's okay. Just be honest with yourself. Find a new hobby. And one of the biggest games to come out since the last podcast is Bethesda's Starfield. This is the first new IP that they've released in the last 20 years, I believe. They did a lot of updates to their engine. It is a space RPG. If I had to simplify it, in my opinion, it's like Fallout meets Mass Effect. And this game, I'm curious to see what the other two say. This game has really stirred the pot. It wasn't getting the 10s out of 10s that people expected it to get. I think the medium review from critics was like 8. There were some 9s. And then there was like a couple of 7s, but like the medium score, everybody seems to agree that it's a good game, but it didn't blow them away. JG, I'm gonna let you take the floor on Starfield, space RPG, baby. How you feeling about this one, man?
Oof, I have the least time out of both of you two. I maybe have put like 5-6 hours into it since it was a pretty rough week. Not gonna get into it, but I didn't get as much time as you all, especially since you all got to play early. But from my experience, it's definitely a slow type of game. I've heard from many people that you need to get into like 10-12 hour mark in order for it to really turn up. And for me, I'm not a real dialogue heavy person when it comes to the NPC. Like, full context, I've never played a Fallout. I'm not into those games. I never played an Elder Scrolls. I'm not into those.
We saw how
games
you reacted to the Archangel. We saw.
Right. I could care less. I could care less about it. I was like, what the hell? So for me, I'm going to have a slightly different opinion. From what I've played so far, the like the game mechanics when it comes to shooting and stuff, like I could tell like in the beginning, especially when you don't have really any perks or skill points into much, it's a little slow. It's definitely not the best shooting mechanic that I've seen, but I can see where like the game shines. Like the dialogue is super heavy. I can see that there's a lot to do. I can see that the facial animation look good. Like the game overall looks gorgeous. I can see that there are like a million different types of things that you can do in the various planets that you go to, but it's definitely a learning curve. You definitely have to pay attention. There were certain things that happened to me that I had to like legit look up, like being encumbered. I was like, what the hell is being encumbered? I've seen this word before, but I didn't understand.
Man really don't play RPGs. That's crazy.
No, I don't. Like I play action RPGs. Like I just really started getting into that, but like full on RPGs, no. I can't say that I've really been into it. So yeah, I didn't know what encumber meant. So I was like, okay, it means I'm too heavy. So it was a lot of items that I had to delete, move around. Going through the item system is definitely it's a mini game in itself. Trying to navigate through that. So I wish certain things like that was a little easier. But again, for the people who are like seasoned veterans to RPGs, especially Bethesda RPGs, I'm sure you felt right at home. I remember when you all were saying that there wasn't a map, and I was initially getting upset about that before I even played the game. But if it wasn't for the scanner, that actually showed you the waypoints, I'm like, okay, and now I'm okay with it not being a map. Like, I understand why there's no map in the game, because they truly want you to just explore and just run into things, just go crazy, go wherever you want in the entire universe and figure it out yourself. So I see what the pros are, why people are like so excited. For me, like, I'm just not not going to have a real big reaction to this game specifically, and I'm going to just chalk it up to I haven't truly put enough time into the game. But I can see like where, as I progress through the game, that it'll end up getting, it'll getting better, and it'll end up clicking for me. So that's just my initial thought. Like I said, I have really very limited time into the game, so I know that you all will have a very more deeper thought when it comes to Starfield. But it's a solid game so far. I definitely wouldn't say that that it's a bad game, but I can see like some of the like glitches and certain things that will like make people who aren't used to Bethesda or just RPGs in general, that they would kind of be like, yeah, well, why is this in here? It just get upset and try to nitpick about the game.
I think I got the second most time. You would think I'd have the most because I had the game early, but I was in the process of moving. As you guys
You're
can see,
a fraud and you don't play games. We know.
No,
Go
fraud.
ahead.
Do you see what's that? What's that right there that I'm pointing to, Ethos? What's that?
I don't know. You tell me.
It's an N7 helmet. Do you have one signed by the developers?
Yes, I do.
Actually, you do. No,
Yeah.
I forgot we got the same shit.
Is your Titanfall one signed by the developers too?
Yeah, it is. It is actually.
Yeah. You and me chill. You and me are both chill.
What's the name? Yeah, so I was in the process of moving, so I didn't get to play it as much as I wanted to. But I think I have like 15 hours on the game. So I'm not a big Bethesda fan. So like I didn't have like the craziest hope. I mean, y'all know World War Bethesda over here. I do like Fallout, but I would never call myself a Bethesda fan. I was never into Skyrim. So what's the name? I would say that I like the game. I don't love it, but then also like I'm not like super disappointed like some people because I didn't have crazy expectations for it anyway. It's exactly what I thought. I had a suspicion that it was gonna be. It's like Mass Effect meets Fallout, but it's not as good as Mass Effect. And then I don't know, like I guess it's like on par with like Fallout, I guess, in terms of like mechanics. Let's see. I like space shit, so I guess I'm kind of biased towards that. The whole thing about people criticizing the map and not being able to explore full planets, I thought that was stupid and people were just finding a reason to dislike it. The lack of no map doesn't bother me because like in the context of the game, so like without spoiling anything too crazy, you play in this group called the Constellation and you're literally, it's the early years. It's not like, this is not Star Wars, this is not Star Trek. This is the early years of human civilization venturing into space. So there are actually no real like crazy aliens that you're gonna run into. I think this game is setting something up for like a trilogy where like the second and third game might get crazy with like aliens and stuff like that. But this first game is just about charting the stars. So like to me, when people are like, oh, this game sucks, there's no fucking map, I'm like, why would there be a map? Like we haven't been anywhere. Like it's literally about that's what the game is about, exploring. Now if you want to say the planets are a little desolate, first of all, people was bitching you can't run across the whole planet. I'm glad you can. I don't know how you feel about that, Ethos, but fucking it's a lot of just kind of nothing on these planets. And it sucks too because like 90% of the planets are like gas planets you can't even explore. So the 10% that you can find and then explore, it wasn't a lot of things to do on there. The few like side quests that I have ran into, they were cool. I just wish that there were more. So like that's why I kind of said I got Mass Effect, specifically Mass Effect 1 vibes. It reminds me of exploring the planets. I just wish that there was more cool side stuff on these planets to do. And then also the exploration didn't feel the best because this game really needs vehicles. Just running across these planets, and that's why I said I liked it that you can't run across the whole planet. If they can mod some like vehicles into it, I'm sure the community will do it on the PC version. I think that'll take the game to the next level, like quality of life changes. But in terms of things that I think they really got right, I am enjoying the dialogue. I am enjoying the story. And I would say the gunplay is like serviceable. It's not blowing me away. It's not Doom Eternal or like Titanfall. But I mean, it's all right. I do think the RPG elements, like when you get drops, I think they're really cool. Like I got like this legendary axe. People were asking me when I was streaming it, how the fuck do you have so many legendary weapons? I'm like, you have to explore in the game. You can't just run through the story. Like I would just be finding them off random space pirates and shit like that. I got this axe that like whenever you kill them, you get extra med kits and stuff like that. I love when games give those little perks and stuff like that that reward you for like exploring, so it's harder to kill me. The space flight in the game, it's cool. It's all right. I think it's beautiful, like the actual space stuff. I think my favorite thing is being a pirate and just robbing other ships. You can board other people's ships and like rob them and stuff like that. I just think the game is good. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets a Game of the Year nomination. Will it win? I don't think so. I would still put Remnant 2 and Jedi Survivor over this. But it is a good RPG that I'm working my way through that has some problems. Some problems that are not like game breaking. It's things that they can patch and fix. Little quality of life changes like the UI. The UI is fucking ass. But the game is good for the most part. I think people need to learn the difference between something being a disappointment and something being bad. It kind of goes back to what JG be talking about all the time. Everything is either great or it's trash. And you got a certain sector of the internet calling this game trash. This game is not trash, bro. It's a good game. And which, by the way, the Xbox version, it works well. I don't drop any frames on it, even though it's locked at 30. It doesn't bother me. How you feeling about the game, Ethos? I feel like I said a mouthful.
Yeah, I think everything you said, I think I agree with. I kind of feel like it was like an expectation thing. I set my expectations basically exactly where I thought they were going to be, which is I was expecting some sort of like Fallout in space. I was expecting a Bethesda-based RPG in space. I didn't want it to be a No Man's Sky. I wasn't playing it for like exploration reasons. I just wanted to be like a really RPG heavy game where I can role play a character. Can I like really feel like I'm in this world and I'm as this character and I can do this funny stuff? And the answer to that is yeah. I feel like I wasn't really a big fan of Fallout 4 because I feel like they took out a lot of the RPG core stuff that made some of the older Bethesda games that I really enjoyed, like click for me a lot more. And this one, I think they've added a lot of them back. I really like the skill tree system. I like that it actually is based off of the stuff that you do. I do like that, like you get better at certain things as you do them. There's like a challenge system that reminds me of like how like the old Call of Duty challenge system used to be. So like you do certain things and then you can unlock a higher tier, which lets you do stuff better or unlock new cool stuff, new mechanics. I think that stuff's really good. I have to give credit to this, and I think a lot of people have been downplaying it for the game. I really think that this game, from a scale standpoint and from a scope standpoint, is very impressive. For it to come out in the state that it has come out, which, don't get me wrong, like there was a high percentage chance that this would have ended up coming out like Cyberpunk, just because of the scope of it was massive, but it didn't. It actually came out pretty solid. There's some issues on PC. With like just the frame rate. It's not unplayable on PC, but like some people are expecting with their 3080s and their high-end GPUs that they should be getting better frame rates than they are. Like right now, like we're getting better than console. Like we're getting 40, 50 FPS.
I don't like that Todd said upgrade your shit. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, nah. It's funny. Don't get me wrong. I think it's hilarious, but I think he's wrong in that respect because it looks like Digital Foundries, they did some investigating and it seems like across the board, if you have NVIDIA-based cards, you are not getting performance to where you should be getting your performance, but like AMD cards are just vrooming through this thing, hitting 60 FPS fine. So a lot of people, you can do with that information as you will. You can try to, push a conspiracy that this is AMD sabotaging NVIDIA on this game, or, and there's no DLSS on this. But like I've modded the game. I modded the game actually. That was what I was doing all yesterday. I actually started modding it, so I got DLSS on it. I started to mod some performance changes, like just improve the performance, and it's been running really smooth now. And so yeah, I've been enjoying it. I always thought. And this is what I always feel about Bethesda games. I feel like if Bethesda can release a game, a single player RPG where it's solid, like what you're saying, right? Like it's a good game. Even I'd say right now, from my experience, I have 50 hours on the game. I'd say right now, for me, it's a great game. I would give it, if I was going to give like a rating right now where I'm at, I'd give it like an 8.5. That's I think like a lot of those reviewers that gave it like an 8.5, 8, I totally could see why. There's definitely those like quality of life things that are missing, but I feel like that's the same way that like Skyrim was and everyone else, where it's like the modders came in and then they started to add those quality of life things. Like they're already fixed the UI, because I hate the UI in this game. I think the UI is terrible for the menus in your inventory. But they've already fixed that. There's a bunch of other cool like tweaking with like field of vision and all that sort of stuff that the modders have done. So I think that this game is a very good foundation. It runs decently, and I think with the modders' help, I think that this game will become what Skyrim has become, which is over the years, it's just going to get bigger and bigger, and more people are going to mod it. I do agree with you about the vehicles. I feel like this game had vehicles in it, and they took it out because they didn't have enough time to finish working on it. That's what I feel, because I agree with you. A lot of the space on the planet seems way too big to be just sprinting across the entire time. I feel like there was initially a thought to have vehicles in your ship and you'd use your vehicles, and it must have got taken out because they just didn't have the time to finish it. So yeah, but overall, I'm enjoying it. People are insane. They're saying insane stuff. I don't know if you saw the Twitter clip of the dude that got exposed who was talking to somebody else. Yeah, he was lying, talking about this game is just a disappointment. And then he said he compared it to Mass Effect to say like that's what made it disappointing.
No, okay.
It was insane.
No, specifically what he said, why is it disappointing? He said, oh, Starfield is shallow like Mass Effect. That was the first red flag for me.
That was the first red flag.
I was like, now if you want to say Mass Effect is a little slow at the beginning,
open.
That's fine.
It wasn't open.
You said saying, like, shallow. I was like, all right, you didn't play Starfield, bro.
He argued and said the reason why it was bad in the beginning, he's like, why is the intro bad? He's like, because they don't let you just start and then like he's like Skyrim, there's a dragon and then you just go off and do whatever you want. In Starfield, you literally get the same type of feeling. Like you start off, you get hit with some space voodoo, and now you're seeing things.
The very first mission, you have to go against raiders.
Yeah,
you get out of the tunnel. Like, what is he talking about? Like,
I don't know. I honestly don't know what he was talking about the entire time. I thought the intro. I'm not gonna lie. When it started with the mining stuff, I was kind of like, oh, like I thought it was like with No Man's Sky type thing. I was like, oh, I pray to God I'm not doing this like for more than an hour. Then it's literally like 20 minutes. That's it. Boom. And then you're out there and you're shooting pirates. And then you're jumping to the lodge and you're jumping and doing all this other stuff. On my stream, like I streamed the game for damn 9-10 hours straight, like just on stream, Twitch streaming. So obviously, I would have quit if I hated it. And like I spent all that time doing a side quest. I wasn't even doing the main quest. I spent 9 hours doing a faction side quest, and I loved it. It was a whole space pirate legacy gold. Like it was like Atlantis. It was like that Atlantis movie in space. It was like that, like in space, and I loved every second of it. I thought that entire arc was good. I really like the side quest for this game. I think they nailed the side quest. The main quest, that's kind of up in the air right now because I feel like I haven't beat it, so I don't know the full main quest yet. But the side quests have been definitely a thumbs up for me.
There's some cool shit in there. I did a side quest where I was like exploring this abandoned like ice factory or whatever, and it got attacked by aliens. And then I ended up finding, it turns out they used environmental storytelling to tell this, right? I found out that they were harvesting human organs and they were experimenting on humans in this lab, right? And you find it because one of the scientists doctor died, and he has a briefcase in his hand. I picked the briefcase up and it had organs in it. I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? I just kept it. So then I leave the planet, I hop off in the ship, and the police pulled me over, and I went to jail because I had illegal contraband when they searched my ship. I was walking around with organs and shit. I was like, stuff like that is cool to me, where it has like that a level of attention to detail. And I'm like, for you to say that like it's shallow, I'm like, yeah, you didn't play this game.
Yeah, I don't think shallow is even remotely close to what I would describe this game. I think this game is definitely ambitious. I don't think it like lands everything. Like I don't think the execution of it is perfect, and I think that's why it's not blowing people away.
After I went to jail for having those illegal human organs, I shot my way out of jail and I killed everybody in the town.
Oh, lucky for you, I became a snitch.
Nigga, I shot the sheriff. I shot everybody in the jail. That shit is fire to me. That's fun to me when you can make your own fun like that. Yeah. I think this is one of those games that's going to benefit from revisionist history, which, by the way, and here's the ironic part. I find it very strange that like in the comment sections of videos, I see people shitting on this game and then comparing it to No Man's Sky. It's so amazing.
No Man's Sky did the same. It was worse.
Well, that's exactly what I was about to get to. No Man's Sky was horrible when it fucking came out, and it got better over the years. It benefits from revisionist history, right? Same thing with Cyberpunk.
Let me double you down. Let me double you down on this. They compared Starfield to Cyberpunk. They like were comparing putting a gun at people and shooting them. I was like, oh my God, I literally was catching deja vu. I was like, oh my God, they did the same thing to Cyberpunk with GTA 5. Remember that? They were constantly comparing to GTA 5, even though I was like, it's not GTA. And they did the same thing. And they're doing it again. It's like a repeat cycle. I was like, I remember when Cyberpunk was getting shat on and everybody was saying, this shit's ass. Look at this and this and this. And they're making montages about how bad it was. Now it's being used as a benchmark. Like I can't.
Hey, Cyberpunk was ass
at
launch. Cyberpunk was ass at launch. I don't want to hear that shit. But it
was
better.
It definitely was.
It was some shit that happened to me in my playthrough I've never seen in a fucking video game. But yeah, it got better over time, and I think this game is gonna benefit. I like right off rip. If they patch in vehicles for the planet exploration, that would take it from like an 8 to an 8.5 for me easily. They clean up the UI, it's a 9 to me. So it's things that they can fix in this game. I think like a year or two from now, the conversation on Starfield for those who hate
it'll be great.
Yeah, even though the people who hate it, they haven't even fucking played it. And I'm gonna be honest, it's mostly like these Sony ponies that you see doing this shit. And I just think it's because they bored. They don't got no exclusives to play right now. So like they gotta
wait for Spider-Man. They're praying to Spider-Man to be like the greatest game ever. They're the same thing that they claim Xbox fans are doing, like about like hyping up Starfield and being like, it's gonna be game of the generation, all this shit. They're doing the same thing to Spider-Man. They're just trying to. It's the same thing. They're acting like Spider-Man's gonna come out.
Did y'all see anybody call this the game of the generation? Like,
I saw like a couple people on my timeline who actually are playing it and they feel like it's their favorite game this generation. And I mean, that's their opinion. Their opinion. I mean, like if they enjoy the game that much, they enjoy it that much. Like I feel like Cyberpunk for me is currently that, but people are gonna definitely disagree and be like, no, what? Like, that's just what it is. But no, I just don't get it. It just doesn't. I don't know why it's this specific game that it feels like it has to, like, this type of, I don't know, this type of like warring needs to happen for it.
I think it's because Microsoft spent so much money on Bethesda. What was it like 12 billion or something like that?
7 billion or 12 billion. Yeah.
It's because they spend so much money on it. I think it's so like that's like crazy ammo for like the Sony side.
But it wasn't, but they didn't just buy it for Starfield. Like that was one part of it. But it wasn't like they spent 7 billion, because I had this argument with these idiots before where I'm like, you understand that like Microsoft didn't spend 12 billion for just Starfield. Like it came with a lot. It was Starfield plus all this other stuff that they wanted.
Next Oblivion, like, whenever the Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. The Elder Scroll game, and the funny part is when you remember when they first got acquired, Bethesda first got acquired last year, right? Do you remember how much Sony fans, how many like Sony ponies were literally arguing that Starfield would not go exclusive? Remember that? Like they were literally like, I don't understand how you go from it's trash and we don't care about it to like, if a year ago, I guarantee you 90% of these same people, I can find a tweet, I can find a previous video of you saying how you were arguing with people saying Microsoft wasn't going to make it exclusive. It was still going to appear on PlayStation. You were going to get it on PlayStation. This doesn't change anything. And then the moment it happened, now it's like, now they've moved the goalpost to, now this game's ass. Now it's disappointment, and just all this BS that I don't feel the game deserves it. It's not
the narrative. The narrative immediately changes when you quote unquote can't play it anymore, or you can't play it on your favorite piece of plastic anymore. So that's exactly where it came from. The game was super hyped up. We didn't see anything about the game for years. We finally got to see a reveal of it. Everybody got to see what this game was going to look like, because we were literally just basing it off of what they were telling us before we saw any bit of information about this game. So once we saw it, we were like, oh man, like this game might actually be lit. And I think that was the true moment when the Sony ponies were like, oh crap, like we really can't play this game anymore unless we get a PC or an Xbox. Therefore, we're just going to do everything in our power just to say that it's crap, just because we can't play it anymore. It's not because it's an exclusive now. So that's really what it truly was. I mean, the same thing with Cyberpunk. I mean, I might have said, because it wasn't it's not an exclusive, but it was the same thing with that. The game was super hyped up. We didn't know what the game looked like, and then we finally saw, because we had the reveal behind closed doors for Cyberpunk. Then everybody finally saw it, and everybody got super hyped up. And then when the game came out, it for some people it was unplayable, and the parity ended up making the game even worse on consoles. So it's the same thing with that.
I think what's especially weird about the launch of Starfield is like, for the fans that are be like, oh, don't waste your money. Like, you can't even make that argument, because I would say at least half the people who played this game got it for free on Game Pass. And I think that's why like the people who actually play this game are not even like that upset if it's not that great, because like it's such a low investment, it's such a low barrier to entry.
How can you be mad at it?
Yeah, like why? Yeah, so it's like I don't think the people understand. Matter of fact, like I'm reading an article right here. Let me bring it up on the podcast. Apparently, Starfield broke records on the Game Pass. Like millions of people downloaded.
Failure.
So it's like, even if they don't like it, they didn't pay for it anyway. They paid for the Game Pass. So,
but here's the double thing. Here's the other thing, right? So there was the argument saying, there's always been this argument that Game Pass cannibalizes your game sales, and people don't buy your games because it's like, why would I? Could just get on the Game Pass, right? But we saw when they did early access for Starfield, it shot up like massive amount of people on Steam were playing the game. They paid $100 to play this game early, to play it like only like a week, like 4 or 5 days earlier than everyone else. So like to say that, because I saw a bunch of people on my Steam friend list who were playing it in the app early access days before the game came out to Game Pass. And there were like friends of mine who were just like, for the people who were really excited to play it, they bought it full price and they were like, I want to play this. And there were other people who were just like, I'm excited, but I'm not like that excited to play, or I have Game Pass. I'll just wait a week. It's not a big deal. There's too many games out right now for me to, jump to this one right now. So I'll just wait and I'll just play it on Game Pass. And the crazy part is it looks like, it worked. Like both sides of it has astronomically blown up, and like they said, like what you said, like 6-7 million people have all been playing Starfield within Xbox, and I think they said PC, or just the Xbox ecosystem, and that doesn't even include Steam. That's a massive success for the game overall, which is what they were really pushing for. And not to mention that Microsoft had intentionally stopped the free trial, the $1 free trial thing. They stopped it like a couple weeks before Starfield was coming out, so they ensured that they locked in people who were going to pay for this Game Pass in order to experience the game. So
Phil said we gonna get our money on Xbox.
Yeah,
honestly, I think this game has. I think at the time before it was getting review bombed, I think it was around 87, 85. I think this game was a success. I think this is exactly what Xbox needed. This is definitely, especially after Redfall and a lot of the other blunders that they had this year. Like I definitely would say that like Xbox has definitely shown that they're finally starting to get their shit together. Like we're starting to see actual good games. They dropped
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush out of the blue. Game Pass has been dropping bangers. Sea of Stars is another great one. And a lot of people, it's like Golden Sun. People have been praising that. That's on Game Pass. We got Lies of P coming up still. There's still a bunch of other Game Pass games that are being announced and being released on there. So, I mean, like, it's a good time to be a Game Pass player. I'm just saying, as the bishop, it's time for you to, bend the knee and join the House of Game Pass, the Church of Game Pass. So, yeah.
For all because this video is probably going to attract some Sony ponies. That statement right there is going to, that's going to start.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. I've been labeled as the Bishop of Game Pass. It's a joke. I've just been running with it since.
I would say I have my PlayStation like right here. I'd lift it up and show you on camera, but I don't give a fuck. So
I have every platform.
Hey man, regardless of what people think about Starfield, at least the game did not come out being broken, because
that's what I'm saying.
Everybody wanted to fall. Everybody was like, "Oh man, it's gonna be the Fallout 76. It's gonna be like Cyberpunk," and it is not. It's been playable, so you can't use that, as a means to shit on the game. You can't. So
I heard there were somebody told me, I won't tell you who, but a couple people were telling me how there were actually like reactionary YouTubers. They were actually betting on Starfield being a Cyberpunk, and they were preparing to like do the same thing they did to Cyberpunk. They were preparing that whole mill to
just shit all over it.
And just get ready to shit on it. Like a couple of content creators, I'm not gonna say some of them are very big and prominent. They were preparing for this game to come out and be broken like Cyberpunk. They were fully expecting
their whole channels are based upon that.
Yeah, and when it didn't, that's when they were like, "Fuck!" Like,
what do I do this week?
I was planning. Yeah, what do I supposed to do? I was planning to do this. So then it just became, we'll pivot, and now it's something else. It's about something else that makes the game bad. So yeah,
fucking pathetic, man.
It is.
It is what it is. But I think we all seem to agree here, even though we're all at different points in the game. Good, not great, but it has the potential to be great eventually.
What would you give the score right now? I said 8.5 right now.
I'd say an 8. If they put vehicles in it, it'd knock it up to an 8.5. UI, clean that up. Or if they clean the UI, I'd give it an 8.5. You didn't find the menus to be annoying?
I modded them. That's how annoying they were.
I'm on Xbox.
I modded them.
I guess I gotta get some mods in. Maybe
if you need help with it, I'll send. Yeah, DB sent me like a whole list of them, and one of them like they changed it, so you don't have to go through all these sub menus. You could just see the entire list of every item and like their weight and stuff like that. So you can just.
I got an older PC. I didn't want them blowing my shit up until the upgrade. So.
Well, you got Game Pass, so you can just play it on your PC still.
Yeah.
And your save still saves. So.
Oh, it has cross save?
Yeah, all the Xbox games do.
I didn't know that.
Play anywhere, baby.
Everywhere, play everywhere.
I feel that. Let's talk about another game. Another big release since the podcast. From the creators of Elden Ring and the other Soulsborne game comes Armored Core 6. I just looked it up. It's been 11 years. 2012 is the last time Armored Core came out on the 360 and the PS3, Armored Core 5. So for those unaware, Armored Core is a mech game. What's the name? People thought it was going to be like Elden Ring with robots. The shit is hard, but it's definitely an action-based game. You get to customize your robot. The levels are pretty linear. There is a story, but I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't particularly interest me. But I think JG and Ethos both spent more time with this. I'm gonna let you give me the pros and the cons because I just literally haven't had time to play this shit, bro. So many fucking games. You're on New Game Plus, Ethos. Give us the 411 on Armor Core. See it.
You just fraud, JG. Plus. Okay, look. I'm not gonna lie to you. This might be my favorite game of the year. I really thought about it. I really thought about it. Now, do I think that this game's gonna win Game of the Year? No, I don't think so. But
because it takes skill.
Skill issue. Like I said, I don't think it's gonna outdo Baldur's Gate. I really don't. I love Baldur's Gate just as much, but like it just hit an itch that I've been missing for such a long time. And I love it. I love it. The dopamine hit this game gives is just top tier. It is the most anime video game I have ever played. It feels like a mecha anime, how like Gundams would be fighting in space and shooting lasers off at each other, stuff like that. It's awesome. I love everything about it. There's literally nothing I don't like about this game. I love the customization. I love the story. I love the action. I like the difficulty, even though I'm
surprised it was optimized.
It's optimized. It runs flawlessly. Great, yeah. It runs beautiful. The PvP runs flawlessly. There's no lag. It has, that. And then it has New Game Plus, which gives you access to new stuff. Like, that's why I'm playing it. There's 2 New Game Pluses. So I'm on the second one right now. That's why I love it, is because it has New Game Plus, but when you play New Game Plus, it's similar to Nier, where like it actually changes the story. So you run through the similar thing, but there's new missions. The missions dynamically will not dynamically, but they'll actually change. So there'll be like different scenarios than what you remember from the first time you play. So you're like, oh shit, wait, like this is different. Or, oh my God, this unlocks this new story path that previously wasn't in the first time. And it creates brand new bosses. So you'll run into bosses that were in New Game Plus that you never saw first. You can play different bosses that happen. And I really like it overall. Shout out to my boy Rusty. That's the homie. He don't miss. Like I just loved everything about this game. This is like my soul game. Like I love this game so much. It just inspired me to play it. So I'm really happy. From Software don't miss. They don't miss. They just dropped another banger. They dropped literally a potential game of the generation. I'd say, yeah, they dropped the game of a generation. And then they said, I got one more in me. And they're going to have another more in them. And in my opinion, I think for me, this cements to me that like out of all the studios that exist, I think From Software is basically in the top 3, if not number 1.
Yeah, you said From Software last year with Elden Ring, they dropped Graduation, and this year they dropped what was the second album?
I got one more immediately, and they kept going.
What was the second Kanye?
It was late registration.
There's late registration.
Late registration was first, and then
so we need a Graduation then. Hold on now.
Yeah. I think like they nailed it. Like I know everyone was. I remember how we were all shocked when after Elden Ring won Game of the Year, they just revealed Armor Core, and people were like, "What? Didn't y'all just drop Armor Core? Drop Elden Ring? Like, how is this possible?" And it's quality. It's a quality game. Obviously, the game's not as big and it's not as long as Elden Ring, but it's more focused. Nigga. Oh, I'm sorry. You
put so much. It's not as big and long.
Whoa. Girthy and depth as Elden Ring. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed. It might end up being my personal favorite game of this year. I'm close to finishing Baldur's Gate right now, and they're like neck and neck with each other. So yeah.
Before I toss it to JG, I was gonna say that's actually one of my favorite things about this game. I've only beaten the first major boss, but like what I've noticed so far that I really like about it is it gets straight to the fucking point. This is an old school level 1. Level 2. Level 3. Yep. And like at the end, there's a fucking boss fight. I was like, thank you. We need more games like this, bruh. So I'm enjoying that kind of super linear aspect of it. But what you think of the game, Jay?
Man, echoing Ethos' sentiments, I think it's up there. It's super close to being my game of the year. Wolong is still hanging on by a thread at this point. Like
that's your game of the year?
Yeah, it's still super close, man.
We gotta check his gamer card.
Long was fun, man. Chill, but it's been so many games. But just look at you having that reaction because you like it's so many games that came out that just knocked that off the list. But look, I said it's still hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
But Armor Core 6. Thank you, Ethos, for saying that we would enjoy it. We still got to get TBH to get through it because I want him to struggle.
We gotta watch him play
I like the game though. I like the game. Don't get it twisted. I was just in the process of a move, and then then when I was packing, that's when they gave me the code for Starfield. So I had to stop playing this. I was like, well, let me get a video out. It's just too many fucking games, bro. Like, that's all it is. But I'm not dropping it. I'm not dropping it. Don't get it twisted.
Stale 2023, man, is crazy. We ain't got no games to play. This man went from one game to another. This man. He said, "Oh, they gave me early access." But anyways, yeah, Armored Core 6, man. I'm again. This is another series that like I'm like wanting to punch myself in the head because I'm like, how did I never play or really care about any other Armored Cores in the past? Like again, playing Armored Core 6, just getting into it. I know there were some people that were like, "Oh man, like you're just running through the levels and they're like little bots, little AC that you go through, and then you may catch like a mid boss AC." But I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter if those are fodder. What is this game about? It's about getting through the level, completing the objective until you get to that skill check. And what's that first skill check? Is my man Balti, big boy Balti is go. Big boy Balti is gonna make you quit the game.
That's why I was kind of upset that I had to drop the game because I think I'm close to him, and I was
you were there. You were almost there.
I was like, bro, you get to watch. Forgot the controls. I got to do the skill check.
Yeah, it's gonna be annoying.
What I really enjoy is that From Software always finds a way to like stay true to their core, but still give you a completely different experience. Like this feels nothing like Elden Ring. This feels nothing like Sekiro from like a story standpoint, from a general mechanic standpoint, but they still keep the same elements of the game. You run through the levels and you're gonna catch a mid boss that's gonna be a mini skill check, and then you're gonna catch that dude that's gonna whoop your ass, and you're gonna be fighting for at least 20 different times until you figure out the way to beat them. And again, that's a skill issue because if you can't beat the bosses, I'm sorry that there's no easy mode for you, buddy. Like I've seen the same arguments about this game that I did about Sekiro, that I did about Elden Ring. Like you just have to learn how to adapt. But the one thing that this game does that again separates itself from games like Elden Ring, even though Elden Ring has a lot of customization options too, and even Sekiro where you had a limited number of options, is the fact that there's so many customization types for your mechs. Like you can really do so many different things. The only thing that you're really limited by is the weight and the energy sources. So you have to. It's really a game of Tetris when you're in the menus and figuring out what you can put on there and what you can't. But there's so many customization options. Obviously, there's like meta. There are certain weapons that everybody's going to see. Once you get it. But there's so many different things that you can do. Like one mech literally does not look like the other. The customization on here is crazy. And like I said, once you get to those bosses, they really make you start thinking as you're progressing through the story. It's truly an amazing thing. When you get there, and then when you get the satisfaction once you beat the boss and progress to the story. And like what Ito said, I wasn't expecting to play a new game plus or new game plus, but once everybody was telling me that there are more weapons that you can get, there are different options that you can go through, and there are different final bosses, I was like, sign me up. This gives me a legit reason to play through the game again. I don't want to just play new game plus and just because I get everything that I had before. Like I want to play it because I can get different options, and Sekiro did that too when I played it again, and I got those different options. But Armored Core 6 really set the bar pretty high when it comes to the replayability of a single player story game that has a multiplayer aspect. So it's really amazing. I definitely enjoy myself playing through New Game Plus right now to get through it, and I'm liking what options that I'm being presented with for this too. It's truly an amazing game, damn near flawless. And I said on Twitter too, I was like, I think From Software is now the go. I was like, CD Projekt Red they held the reins for a long time, but I think From Software might just be the goat of video game studios right now.
Also, I want to state I had access to Starfield, like you said, early, thanks to TBH. I had access to it a little earlier, and I still put Starfield down to beat Armored Core. So that says a lot that, there was a game that wasn't even out yet, and I still was like, that's how hooked I was on this game. I was like, no, I want to finish New Game Plus for this game. So yeah,
I feel that. I was reading on Twitter. Apparently, I guess the skill check was it Baltius or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of people refunded and complained on Steam because he was too hard. Like it was a mass refund about that part. I was like, damn.
You know what's even funnier? That wasn't the first skill check that people refunded. They refunded because they couldn't beat the damn helicopter.
What?
Yeah,
hold on. No, you're right, because when I did stream the game, the chat was like, "Oh, the helicopter came." They was like, "Oh, he about to rage quit. I can't wait for this shit." And then it took me 2 tries to beat it. In the first try, I figured it out. I was like, "Oh, you just gotta get close with the sword." And once I figured it out, I beat it on the second try, and everybody was like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Is that the skill check?" And people were like, "It was several people in the chat that said they did rage quit on that first helicopter boss fight." I was like, "Interesting." I don't know. We gonna see.
Padawan playthroughs. Padawan.
We got some fraudulent playthroughs, man. That's crazy. I can't say too much about it other than I like it because, like I said, I only beat the first couple bosses. I haven't gotten to that first major skill check yet. But I mean, based on what I played, I'm enjoying it. I do plan to beat it. It's just only so much damn time in the day. We gonna get to it though. That's very interesting though. What would you rate? Did you beat it, Jay?
Yeah, I beat the new game.
What would you rate it out of 10?
Man, I give it like 9.5. It's damn near flawless.
Yeah, 9.5.
Those are bold claims right there. So y'all heard it. If y'all looking for something new, you could have got a free copy if you joined the Discord. Link in the description box below. Discord.gg/GI updates. Shout out to Jamerson. He was the winner of it. Let's move on to the next topic. I know JG is just itching to talk about this.
You've been scratching.
So for me, I've always cracked jokes that it's World War Bethesda over here because that's why I got Starfield on Xbox. I didn't want them blowing up my PC. For JG, recently it's become World War NBA 2K. NBA 2K24 came out, and honestly, I wasn't even going to put it on the show notes because these niggas don't ball. But what's the name? JG recently got into a spat on Twitter where he actually went viral and actually earned partnership and is now getting paid to tweet because he called out some NBA 2K content creators. You want to break down that situation and what you wanted to rant about when it comes to NBA 2K?
Yeah, ISO on me.
This nigga,
ISO on me.
That's fucking funny.
All right. So for all the people who aren't on Twitter and don't follow me, you check JT the Don on all social medias. I saw one YouTuber, which I didn't know he was a content creator. I was just like, whatever. I look at his profile, I don't know who he is, but he was like, man, I'm ready to go. Like 2K24, and for all the people who have been playing 2K for years, everybody wants to play the game early, so they change their whatever console of choice. They go to New Zealand and they starball it out. So this
got my passport right here, baby. I was in New Zealand, boy.
They changed the console to New Zealand because New Zealand gets it early. You get to play it early. So he was like, I'm ready. And this man took a screenshot of him not only buying whatever the legendary edition of 2K24 is, but he bought 2 things of 700,000 VC, and that ended up being a grand total of $432. And I said, my man spent $432 on one video game. I said, this is how they get y'all every single year. And after that, again, I just said one statement, didn't think anything of it. All of a sudden, I woke up in the morning, that joint was like 100,000 impressions, and then it just kept going up. I was like, all right, I'm just going to respond to a couple people, and the main comments I got was, I'm a hater, and I'm broke, and what do you say? What people do with their money? And here's the problem, people. I really hate that it was really the majority, like 99% black people who were saying this stuff to me. Again, I ain't trying to make it a race thing, but we love the ball. And for this being the only basketball game that we have, and you all are acting like this, and for some reason, like the NBA 2K community's IQ was so low that they said all the things that I knew that they were going to say about me before they said it, and they just kept saying it. I'm like, bro, this is really sad. Like, how am I a hater because I played 2K before and I don't agree with bad practices that 2K has been doing? Like, can half the people who said things about me say that they played 2K since the original 2K that's on Dreamcast? Oh, there was no such thing as VC back then. Like, back then, you can actually make a player and you can grind regularly in the game, and you couldn't buy VC. But ever since 2K started allowing you to buy VC, that's when everything changed. And you really shouldn't feel like, and the whole point is you shouldn't have to buy VC with real money. And that's really the root point of it all, but we don't understand that. And since it's the only basketball game, the reason why you were buying VC is because you were forced, or you feel like you were forced to buy VC, either to keep up with the YouTubers or because you don't want to go through the grind, and you understand that the grind is going to be tedious and it's going to take so much more of your time, because 2K does not reward you for playing the game normally now. And you're going to continue to accept the bad practices. You're going to continue to accept capitalism, and things are not going to get any better because you're voting with your wallet. That's literally the point. I don't understand how I'm a hater. I don't understand how I'm broke. I don't understand how I'm gay. Like, they were saying,
they said you were gay?
Yeah, bro. Some dude said I was gay. I was like, bro, this is ridiculous, dog. They were going in, and I was responding to all of them. I'm like, dog, all right, you said the same thing this dude said. You said the same thing this dude said. All right, I'm a hater. I'm broke. Now what? Do you agree with what I said or not? And one dude was like, bro, he was like, Apple does it. Jordan does it. I'm like, okay, so you're a slave to capitalism. You're a slave to capitalism, really. I'm like, just because these companies capitalize, you don't own stock in them.
How does Apple do it? What are they talking about?
He was bringing up the example that Apple brings out a new phone every year and people buy it.
That's a terrible comparison.
Minimal changes.
No, because everybody doesn't buy the new phone. I buy a new phone like once every 3 years. That's a terrible. And also, I'd argue you need a smartphone to function in today's society, at least efficiently. You don't need NBA 2K. That's a horrible argument.
Yeah, and again, people start cooking him too. They were like, "Bro, you a dummy." I was like, "Go ahead, bro. Just go ahead on my lightweight for me." But anyway, like, so I'm not trying to continue to rant, because I've done that for a day, and as soon as like 2 days pass, when nobody's saying anything new, so I just left it alone. But yeah, thank you, because now my broke self can get paid by Elon. So I appreciate you all for blowing that tweet up and getting so upset. But again, it's really a shame that the 2K community continues to be like this, like, and they really are like one of the worst, if not the worst, communities on social media, period. Like, I just don't understand why we continue to do this. Like, it's okay to play the game, but like I said, without competition, and EA really dropped the ball, and I don't think that any other company has that type of relationship with the NBA like 2K does, and like what EA does. Without competition, this is what we're going to continue to get, and this is the unfortunate state of basketball games, period, because there's only really one out there. So it's like we're forced to buy 2K if you want to play a basketball game, and then you're forced to buy VC because they're going to continue to not actually reward the grind. So it's really a shame that competition isn't forcing 2K, or people voting with their wallet isn't forcing 2K to change their bad practices.
I will say I do find it fascinating that, like, for a community that talks a lot about IQ, it has one of the lowest in the gaming space. One good thing I will say is, like, I've been watching a lot of creators, and like I've seen several big 2K creators say that like they bought the game and that's it. And I personally don't think there's anything wrong with buying the game. It's when you spend exuberant amounts of money. That's why they keep doing that shit. And that's all I think JG was like talking about, and they got mad. It's like, I let this nigga talk shit. It don't offend me. I'm like, whatever, bro. But I have noticed. I think what happened was, like, right before the game came out, there was like this movement where I saw multiple prominent creators posting screenshots of how much they spent in their purchase history on the game, and I think it finally clicked for them, because you had people posting 2,000, 5,000, 700. I think one dude said he spent over 200,000. Last year, like on 2K or whatever, because he plays the My Team shit. And I think it made them click, like, yo, how you gonna claim you can't afford a $9,000 PC, which, by the way, they don't cost $9,000. But how you gonna say you can't afford a $9,000 PC, but you can afford $9,000 in My Team card packs and shit like that? So I think it put things in perspective for some people. So I have noticed a shift in tide, but like, how long is it gonna be before we get there? I don't know. I also wouldn't hold my breath, because the motherfuckers is glue eaters. Funny enough, that dude that you responded to, I ain't gonna say too much. I've seen him before. He's a cheeser, so he ain't gonna listen to you anyway, JG. I've seen this stream before.
He's not. But I think the worst thing about 2K and what they've done is first of all, because I remember when people started complaining about $70 games, right? And for current gen, we got to stop saying next gen, for current gen. And 2K was one of the first games that came out the gate with like $70 for current gen. So not only did they do that, but they charge you for VC for buying in-game currency with real money, and now they have a season pass for $20 every single season. So like they just keep adding on to the bull crap, and you know people were like, "Hey man, like what you see what GTA are doing, you see what Apex are doing," but again, Apex is free to play. GTA is not, but you all got sucking into that system as well. So again, I don't have any remorse for y'all either. So I think that's one of the main things that just really makes me upset. And then on top of that, anything that you do in this game doesn't transfer over. I think that's one of the main like true like FU type of situation that 2K has been doing for years. It's just none of that stuff transfers over.
Like your VC don't even carry over. Like if you assume.
It would be nice if it does. Like, just think about how much money that people are spending. Again, that AKA that dude. Like you said, somebody spent $200,000. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous for one video game that you're only going to play for max 9 months until the next one comes out.
Yeah, like I said though, you are talking to a wall with some of these people. I would not hold my breath. You know what sucks too? I think a lot of them don't understand how much influence they have. What's the name? When the game was like, it was Aiden Ross got the game a day early, and he was streaming it on Kick. And he showed that like, so there's a season pass this year. Before you had to earn level 40 by just grinding the game, just winning online or whatever. Now you could just pay for level 40, and he showed it, and it's 75. So the season pass is 20 a season. There's 9. So there's a season pass every month. Multiply that times 9, and then on top of that, you can buy the levels, and it costs $75 to max out the level 40, which then you can get the mascot. So like, do the math. Like, it's like $1,000 to play the fucking game if you want to buy all the levels and shit like that. And like, the game wasn't even out. He had it early, and as soon as he got the game, and he booted up. He opened the season pass, he bought it, and then he bought all the levels in the season pass instead of playing the game to get the mascot. And I'm like, bruh, this is the problem right here, dude. Like, your influence. So like, if you hop online, you'll see a lot. It used to be really hard to get the mascot. Like, you can actually wear like your team's mascot on the court. It used to be really hard to get that shit. Now you just pay $75 and you get it. And like, you see a lot of mascots in the park now. And I'm like, I get, because he had 85,000 people in his stream, and I'm like, bruh, if a person like that was just like, yo, I'm not paying for this shit. I love the ball. I'll get the game, but I'm not buying any of this extra shit. It's not gonna save the day, but it's like, it's gonna influence a good amount of people. And I'm just like, bro, I really wish y'all would use your platform to do something positive. But you know, more money, more clout.
I've never seen Negroes do math. So I never seen them like actually want to do math so bad until they announced the season pass this year. They were like, hold up, I'm about to spend $100 for this game. I'm about to spend $20 each for every season. Like, they were legit like doing the math and seeing how much it would cost. Like, it's ridiculous. I urge people to start voting with their wallet, because like I said, it's not going to get any better. I understand y'all want to ball, but again, the very least that you can do is just buy the base game and just stick with it. I know the grind is crazy. I actually tried last year because TBH bought it for me for my birthday. I tried, and it got so tedious. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore, bro. I legit wanted to just show that I could do it, and it got ridiculous. I'm like, no more.
Group economics. Move as a unit. You can affect some change, but until then, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't hold my breath. Like, they called you gay, bro. I didn't even know that. Did you should have been like, yo, dude, I got a wife and kids. Like that. I literally can't be like.
I didn't say anything to try to prove myself. I was like, bro, whatever, man. Yeah, I was like, okay, now what?
Oh no, man.
I'm gay. Ooh, you got me.
That shit is so
like,
middle.
man.
You know, it's funny too. That stream that I was just talking about that had the 85,000 in it. It was really hard to watch because he kept saying that shit, and I was like, "Yo, did we used to talk like that when we was like kids?" It was like every 5 minutes, "Yo, this shit is gay. This shit is gay." And I'm just like, "Bruh," I was like, like, I feel like I'm a little too old for this shit. Like, I don't know. Freaking, you know what really sucks too about this whole 2K shit? The game is actually pretty good this year. Mechanically, it is.
No.
It's
don't
like,
even
damn,
try it.
bro.
Don't even know.
Damn,
nope, shut up. Don't even say that shit. Don't even say that shit. Nope.
And they added crossplay, and check it out. I mean, JG heard me say it the other day. It actually works. There's no lag. Like, they actually are trying to improve the game. It's just like, bro, they keep fucking y'all in the ass and y'all take it.
Nope.
It's crazy.
Y'all are a bunch of, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it.
Yeah, say what you was gonna say before we started recording. What was the words you was gonna use for
I'll
the 2K
get in trouble.
players?
I'll get in trouble. So I'll get in trouble. I'll get in trouble.
Oh shit! Well,
I'll say it on social media.
I'll say it on my Twitter so I can get paid.
I'll say it on my
I gotta
Twitter,
get my impressions up.
Exactly.
Let's talk about a game that was kind of DOA, to be honest. New game from EA. Well, it's published by EA. It's called Immortals of Aveum, I believe. It's the Space Magic Doom clone. That's one of the EA originals. Basically, in this world, you play a guy. I think his name was Jack. And like the world is at war with magic, and you get recruited into the army once you discover you're basically like the magic avatar. There's different elements, and you're one of the rare people who can wield all the elements. So then you run around, killing enemy soldiers, trying to save the day and stuff like that. Came out like a couple weeks ago. I feel like a lot of people streamed it the day it came out, and I haven't heard a peep about this shit. I actually have your footage up on the recording of you playing it, Jay. So you got the floor. What were your thoughts on Immortals of Aveum? Should people pick it up?
It ended up being like a typical battle mage game, but I played better battle mage games. That's a crazy thing about it. I think what really like turned me off was the story. I was just super uninterested in it. It really ended up turning more into like, hey, like I didn't know that I had these type of magic powers. Now I'm about to be recruited, and now I have to just fight for this military and this magic military and just go through it. But I was just super uninterested. Like, even though I got all of the elements as I continue to play through, I probably play like 2-3 hours. But once I ended up getting all elements, I was like, oh, okay, it's about to turn up. Like, all right, I see the skill tree here. I could possibly do some better things here. But the stuff that I ended up doing, it wasn't worth it to try to go through the story and just sit through that just so I can, potentially get some better magic spells to do. Like, I think the story was just so disinteresting to me that I just instantly put it down. And I think this was literally around the time that Armored Core came out. So, like I said, it's like, do I play Immortals or do I play Armored Core? Like, I don't recommend this game, especially if you're not into the battle mage type game. Like you say, it's all right, but I think that once again, this is a game that they didn't kill it with their own game, but it's definitely a victim of coming out at the wrong time, because there were some bangers around the corner, and like I said, I had no interest to continue to try to sit through a story that I was not interested in at all.
What about you, Ethos?
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot I actually played it.
That's crazy.
I forgot I actually did play it.
To be fair though, right before we started the show, it wasn't even on the notes, and then I remembered it came out. I was like, oh, I did stream this game, so I'm right there with you. I forgot about this game too.
Yeah, I totally forgot.
Did you cut out? What'd you say?
So I just forgot.
That's it? Oh, okay.
It just right from it.
That's all I got.
Freaking. The only thing I remember is I didn't like the main character, Jack. He wasn't particularly interesting. And the combat's just I think I'm just old now. I had to put my glasses on to play this game. There's too many flashing lights. This game needed epilepsy warning or something. Too many beautiful ass colors. They needed to tone back on the sparkly colors, bro. It was really hard to play this game, especially if you're tired. It was just wearing my eyes out. And then the combat was nothing particularly interesting. It played like Doom, but not as good. Like, the movement system wasn't as good. So I'm like, why would I want to? It's like Diet Doom, but it fucks my eyesight up. So I'm like, I gave it about 2 hours and I'm good. And the opening section was boring as fuck. It was like 30 minutes before you actually got to the combat. It was like 30 minutes of straight walking. And then eventually you get your powers. And I was like, I tried it, but I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and uninstall it. Cause like Jay said, Armored Core had came out. I was like, I think I'm going to play Armored Core because Ethos kept raving about that shit. So I don't know. I'll maybe get it on sale if you really are kind of interested in it. But like I said, this game kind of disappeared for a reason. Motherfuckers forgot it even existed. So Immortals of Aveum, ladies and gentlemen. Did you get to play a chance to play Chainsaw Massacre, Ethos?
Yes.
What'd you think of it?
It's actually good. I like it. I usually don't like those type of asymmetrical multiplayers where it's like a killers and there's like a bunch of survivors or hunters. I usually can't get into I never was able to get into Dead by Daylight, but I like this one. This one's pretty cool. I'm a really good killer.
What about it was specifically different than compared to Dead by Daylight? Because that's the reason I didn't play it. I was like, it looks like Dead by Daylight.
No, I barely played Dead by Daylight. It's more like you know how like Friday the 13th was? It's like that.
Well, no,
I think I explain. You know, Friday the 13th, the game, right?
I didn't play it because that one looked like Dead by Daylight too.
Yeah, it's a similar game. I mean, I haven't played Dead by Daylight in years, so I don't know how much has changed and how much this game is similar to that. I'm pretty sure more of a like a hardcore player could tell you, well, there's this difference. I don't know it, so I can't speak on that. All I know is I had fun playing it, and it was on the Game Pass. So.
Oh, I didn't even know it was on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's on the Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had
I'm
fun.
still not gonna play it, but that's cool.
Yeah, it's on the Game Pass.
I was just gonna say, why are you saying it like you about to play that shit, boy? Get out of here. I guess. Well, it's on Game Pass. This man always pushing the propaganda.
Got to.
You heard it.
Gotta make
Ethos gave a nice in-depth impression. He likes it. And then I'm gonna give a shout out real quick. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this one. This game randomly I came across called On Guard. There was a trailer in my sub box like a couple weeks ago, and I really didn't think much of it. I honestly just be opening up trailers, talking shit with the chat. That's how we just be chatting at the beginning of streams. And the trailer actually looked all right. I was like, oh, this looks cool. So I decided to go and look it up on Steam, and it had very positive reviews. It was only $15, so I checked it out. And if you want something cheap and fun to play, check out On Guard on Steam. I believe it's on console as well. The best way I can describe it, it's kind of like Zorro meets like Arkham Asylum. Meets kind of like Jack and Daxter. It's got a very fun, charming, like it's very funny. But the combat, it's got the counter system like Batman. But then what's cool is you can use the environment when you're fighting. So like you can throw buckets on people's head. You can kick them into like different objects and they'll fall down like a sword case, or you can kick tables at them and trip them up and stuff like that. Like it has like all these cool little environmental ways to like actually mess with the enemy, and then the sword combat's really cool. And it's got platforming sections like Mario and stuff like that. So if you want like a fun action platformer that's cheap, this game is actually really good. Kind of threw me off. I was like, whoa. And I think it's only like 4 hours too. So definitely worth checking out if you want something different to play. It's called On Guard. I don't know if y'all saw that one before. Probably not, because y'all don't play no games.
I'm watching it. I'm watching your gameplay.
Y'all don't play no games though, so whatever.
You just admitted you didn't play it.
What are you talking about? I play hella games.
Sure.
Anyways, let's move on to the news section of the story, the podcast. Since the last pod, Gamescom happened. Did you guys see anything interesting coming out of? We don't have E3 anymore, so all we got is Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show. Gamescom is basically Germany's version or Europe's version of E3. Only thing about Gamescom is like it would always be kind of like the sloppy seconds of E3, but there is no E3. There's only Summer Games Fest, so you would think there were some interesting stuff, but I only saw one thing that I was really interested in. What about y'all?
Alan Wake looked cool.
Are you gonna actually play that?
Yeah, I love the first Alan Wake.
Is that gonna be on Game Pass?
No, it's going to be on Epic Games Store, so no.
Oh, okay.
Liza P looked great.
We knew that was coming though.
Yeah.
Black Myth Wukong is the only thing I'm interested in that they show. And the reason I'm interested in it is because people were really like, well, there's two. There's another one, but hold up. With Black Myth Wukong, there was never a guaranteed release date or that it was coming to the West. And they guaranteed that it's coming stateside and it's coming to Europe. So that excited me. And then they showed more gameplay of it. They had like this tiger boss fight. I don't know if I got to see that. I'm like, oh, this looks like another game to update the GI tier list with. And then they had this Project Mugen, which is like, it looked like they straight up stole the animations from Spider-Man. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, I saw that. The anime one, right?
Yeah, the anime.
They were like running up walls and stuff.
Yeah. I was like, what is this? It look kind of cool. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Stalker 2 looked cool. I like that. Cyberpunk looked fantastic. I'm really excited to that.
Yeah, you already know.
You have no idea. I'm counting the days. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to play that. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, that's about it.
They had some shooter called Delta Squad. Looked like another Call.
You see that off the grid?
You said what?
Off the grid?
Nah, what's that?
It was like it's a shooter, I think.
What kind of shooter?
Third person shooter? Not the Kanye song game.
Off the grid. Let me see. Well, describe it. Off the grid.
It is a third person shooter.
Satirical cyberpunk game with
cyberpunk, like advanced warfare looking game.
Gameplay demo. I'm pulling it up right now. Oh yeah, this kind of looks like Ghost Recon. I've seen this. Yeah. Is it free to play?
I have no idea. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so it's a battle royale. Okay, it's a
You
battle
lost
royale
me.
third-person shooter, but it was directed by Neil Blomkamp, which
Who?
tracks. He's the director. He was the guy that. Do you remember District 9 movie?
Yeah, the movie about segregation.
Yeah, with the aliens. Yeah. He's the guy that was behind that and Elysium. I think.
Yeah,
It tracks too because it looks like something that's like District 9 Elysium style.
You kind of lost me at BR though. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My interest went down just 50% after seeing it was a VR game.
Yeah,
That's
probably gonna be a new, but
Dear game developers, stop making BRs. Don't you know space is the new frontier?
Yeah, space is the new thing we have to burn to the ground now.
What's the name? Let's see what else we got. Oh, TennoCon happened, which I didn't know this was still going on. For those unaware, this is basically Warframe has its own little convention.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care.
You don't care? Well, hold on. You don't care about Warframe 1999?
No, I really
But
don't.
hold on. It tells you about the
I know what it is. I know.
early days.
I know. I already saw it.
They finally showed some new gameplay for their game. What's it called? Soulframe. You see this ashy footage?
Dang,
oh yeah, we
ashy.
talked about that.
I remember when they revealed it. They had is it? Ashy?
Yeah, scroll to the bottom of the article. There's gameplay for it. 300.
Like how ashy? Are we talking like lotion will take care of it, or like?
Dog, look at the
Not
gameplay.
even
It
lotion,
does look really ashy. I don't know why the gameplay they uploaded this
Oh.
footage.
Holy yeah! What the heck?
It makes
Why
me
is
wonder.
the brightness so low?
It makes me wonder. Did they record it wrong, or does the game actually look like this?
Seems like an artistic choice.
They're trying to go for that eco Shadow Colossus type of vibe, but it's still too dark. Either way, if you look at the gameplay, if you kind of go to the middle, it looks meh. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about this.
What is this? Just melee Warframe? Is that the gist of it?
It's some type of story.
I've yet to see gameplay. Every time I go to a new section of this video, I just see them walking and running. When do they start hitting something?
In the 8 minutes, they're hitting shit.
Oh, okay. Through his blade. Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. Maybe they.
I
think they purposely made it ashy so we can't see how boring the gameplay looks. That's what they did. Any takes on that, Jay?
I'm sitting there looking at it now. I mean, at least it showed gameplay.
It's
Very
interesting.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it a little bit more. So it's supposed to be like a pure like single player type experience.
I don't know what kind of game it is.
I'm guessing so.
I don't know.
It is a fantasy co-op action game.
Oh, it's co-op. Okay.
It's something.
Warframe.
Warframe. They made Warframe again.
Okay, hold on. There's a boss fight right here.
Oh god, there's puzzles. Oh,
puzzles with the homies.
It looks a little bit like kind of Souls-ish, but
yeah, I'm getting kind of those vibes.
Anyway,
we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to pass full judgment on it.
I won't criticize it.
We need more information. In the meantime, we do have plenty of information on the next topic. Unfortunately, because the Sony ponies were too busy trying to shit on Starfield, not only did they miss the price hike coming to PlayStation Plus.
They were shitting in their own backyard.
they missed the price hike coming to PlayStation Plus. They also missed the news about Sony's new PSP. And yes, they're calling it a PSP, which is an insult to the legacy of the original. They have a new handheld device. The rumors are true. We were hoping they weren't, but the rumors are true. This new handheld device for your PlayStation is a mirroring device. So this has no computer on board. It's basically a PlayStation 5 controller with a screen in the middle. It's a 7-inch screen, and it allows you to mirror your PS5 to that controller. And for those wondering, like, well, who's this for? Because you can't play games directly on it. There's no streaming on it. Apparently, it's for people out there that don't have an extra TV. Maybe your significant other or your kids want to watch Cocomelon. So then you got to play your PS5 on this. And that wouldn't be a problem if it didn't cost $200. Because the thing is, if you have $200 to spare, you can just go buy another monitor. What do y'all think?
Waste of money to bring this out. So basically, the rumors were true. And yeah, for them to be calling it PSP, I feel sorry for y'all, man. Because I know y'all are huge PSP and PS Vita advocates, but yeah, this is a travesty on that name.
Yeah, like how long is that battery life?
This is another example of, once again, example 5,000, I think, of this past couple of years of Sony seeming out of touch with their consumer base. I don't know.
That's a perfect segue, actually, because Sony is not the only ones that are out of touch with their consumer base. Seems Microsoft is too. Xbox will now ban players for a year if you cuss too much.
Oh, I'm cooked. I'm cooked.
It would seem that if people report you for cursing, you can get that ass banned. I believe you can get up to like 8 strikes, and then after that, they're going to ban you for a year. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you hop on Call of Duty on Xbox and you start dropping N-bombs that's a racial slur. At this point, I don't know, because they call it a gamer word. But F-bombs, SS-bombs, whatever. You're gonna get banned. How you feeling about that, Ethos?
I'm cooked. If I play any Call of Duty, I'm cooked. It's not happening.
I feel like it's a part of the culture at this point. Like,
Yeah.
As long as you ain't, pulling my IP address and my home address, whatever, bro. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you gotta worry about too many people snitching on you. if you start cursing, especially if you beat them in games like Call of Duty, they gonna
report you.
So.
Yeah, they gonna get salty and report you. Salty report you for that shit. And say, yo, he was cussing.
Yeah, and like, my thing is like, how would they know if you were cussing or not? Is the Xbox always recording you? Like, what's the source for that?
Yes, they a lot of platforms nowadays online, though, they keep records of any sort of voice comms that you have. I'm pretty sure Sony, there was like something about Sony doing it. Xbox, I think, does it. I know firsthand, which is hilarious. I know firsthand, Riot does it. Riot does it with Valorant. They actually record anything that you say in game, and they keep a record of it. And this is something you agree to, is that they're allowed to keep vocal of anytime you hit the button to vocalize within their game. They're allowed to keep records of anything you say and record. So people that like basically were being very toxic, they would call to support and be like, "Hey, that's not true," and da 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 da. I was on voice chat. I wasn't, I didn't say anything in text chat. But then they have actual like audio clips that they can like send you of you talking and saying what you say. So yeah, it's pretty embarrassing.
Well, I guess it's time to go back to TeamSpeak or the Mumble Ghost.
Hell no.
Does that still exist? TeamSpeak and Mumble?
Yeah, I think it does.
I think they do. I think they're still going.
Yeah, because I would imagine Discord is recording you too.
When the great Discord falls, everyone will return back to TeamSpeak.
I don't think.
They changed it. Oh, it's all different looking now.
I don't think it's possible because it took some level of tech skill to use TeamSpeak or Mumble. Discord, not really. They'll probably go to what was that shit? Skype.
Do you remember how hard it was? Do you remember how hard it was to convince people to get on Discord?
Yeah.
Initially, like, do you remember how it was like pulling teeth for people where they just
everybody's on it. Yeah, I'm on TeamSpeak site right now. It looks like Discord.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it looks like Discord. Yeah.
They finally that's that innovation right there. You still got to pay for this shit. Pricing,
I hope you got not.
Yeah, this looks totally
64
different.
slots require $55. Hell no,
for a year. That's not. I mean,
nah,
it's not terrible.
Discord is free.
No, it's free. Yeah, no.
Discord is free.
Yeah, but Discord's taking your privacy.
China, this is true. So
China,
and that's what they have listed here as a quality
privacy
built in.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. But we was pioneers on a lot of stuff. People, they getting on it now. Make sure to join our Discord. Link in the description box below. Did y'all know that apparently Bungie is working on a new game, and it's rumored to be a MOBA style game, code-named Gummy Bears, and even some artwork is leaked online. It's got this cutesy artwork. Looks like a bunch of Twitch streamers. Got a chicken, and even really, dude. What's the name? I don't know if y'all heard that.
He's excited. He said, "Ooh,
he saw a squeaky toy."
Yeah.
You even got a cute little cat here. So my question to y'all is it too late for a MOBA?
No, I don't think so. Battle Royale games, I think it's too late for it, but MOBAs, I think they still have a little bit of hope. I'm not sure where Bungie's trying to go with something that's codenamed Gummy Bears, though, and showing this artwork, because I would definitely love to see what type of MOBA this is going to be and who is going to be the target audience.
They said it's inspired by fighting games, platformers, and MOBAs, life sims, and frog type.
Sounds like Bleeding Edge. That's what it sounds like to me.
Is it going to be like a typical top-down MOBA, or is it going to be third person like Smite?
Man, I don't know. Maybe
third person, hopefully.
Maybe it's just a MOBA in the respect of the characters, but maybe it plays like a fighting game, maybe?
Hmm.
I'm gonna give them the benefit
Yeah.
of the doubt just because it's Bungie. Like they can make something good. It's been a while since we got a new game. Like they've been milking the fuck out of Destiny.
I mean, that's cool though. Like, I'm not mad at them for trying something different and at least bringing Marathon back. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with these two new games that are on the way.
I just hope the game is good because it sounds like they're making another live service game, and like a lot of times, you know, with these live service games, quality can drop because they be so focused on the damn monetization of stuff.
What the hell is a frog type game though?
That's what I'm saying. I have no idea.
That's-
Frogger? Like, is it
When
Frogger?
niggas-
Yeah, the Frogger.
No, it's about ambushing people. Like when niggas get froggy, you know what I'm saying? Pull up. You know what I'm saying?
That seems to make sense.
Freaking so they got another game coming. Unfortunately, this company doesn't though. Volition, the creators of Saints Row, they recently announced the other day that they will be shutting down effective immediately. They took to Twitter to say this past June, Embracer Group announced a restructuring program to strengthen Embracer and maintain its position as a leader in the video games industry. As part of that program, they evaluated strategic and operational goals and made the difficult decision to close Volition effective immediately, which is, you know, their bosses, the Embracer Group, their investors. And then they went on to say that they're going to be providing, you know, resources for people because a lot of people lost their jobs and like laid off. So it sounds like the Saints Row reboot, I'm going to take a wild guess, was a make or break for them. They needed that game to succeed because it can't be a coincidence that Volition is shutting down after the reboot failed. What's the name? What do you think that they could have did better with Saints Row, Jay?
I mean, I think they should have went back to the roots and not make it so like cartoony. Like this game, like legit. I remember when we first saw it, we were like, well, why are they making another Saints Row? And then we kind of started getting excited because it started looking good. And then once the game came out, like, and we played it and just looking at the story, like, it was just so boring. Like, it just felt like a shell of its former self. Like, it tried to reboot it and just, we didn't care about any of the characters. We didn't really care about what's going on in the story. Like, they tried to bring it back to the roots, you know, Saints Row, like, we're all a family and da. But it was just a little bit too cheesy. Like, we wanted some of those same characters that we, you know, grew up with while playing this game. We wanted to be more of like, even though it wasn't as serious as GTA, like we didn't want it to just go full like wacky, and that's what they ended up doing as like past Saints Row 3, in my opinion. And this reboot didn't make things any better. Like I stopped playing, I ain't even beat it. So it's unfortunate that it does seem like, again, we don't know 100% certainty, but it did seem like more of a make or break type thing. Like, all right, well, if Saints Row reboot doesn't do good, then we're done with you. So like I said, it's unfortunate. We probably not going to get any more Saints Rows, but probably at this point it's probably best that it just died. But I hope that Volition or an Embracer Group does, you know, get these people back on their feet and provide them with resources, put them on other teams and see what they can do. But RP Volition.
Pick some of them up for Samurai Zero, Ethos.
No positions right now.
Dang.
I mean, I feel sorry for him, but one of the main things is that I know I saw some people that were stupid enough to try to act like, oh, they went woke, and so then that's what caused their studio to shut down. I was like, no. The reason why, if you actually read, the reason why their studio really shut down was because, and I've been watching this for a while, industry-wise, Embracer Group, which was that like big conglomerate that had been buying up a bunch of studios, like they bought like Tomb Raider studio and everything else. They had like a $2 to $7 billion deal that went through that originally was devised from a Saudi gaming group. And it fell through for whatever reasons. I don't think we've still figured out why. And this caused them to reassess everything because they were planning on that deal. They apparently had a verbal agreement, and that deal was supposed to be what carried all their studios that they had been buying and everything they've been purchasing. It was supposed to carry them into making future game projects for the next like couple of years. So now that money's now effectively gone, it's basically put a wrench in their entire financials, and that's why basically they're hacking studios. And I mean, you could argue that, but really that's just what it came down to, was that Saints Row and just Volition in general was like, out of all the studios they had, it was probably lower on their list compared to all the other ones. That's why they shuttered it, because they lost a lot of potential money that they would have had. Because if they had got that deal, I don't think Volition would still be here making another game probably. So that's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate, because I remember when Embracer Group announced that they were, you know, buying these studios, and people were like, "Oh man, this doesn't seem good," and now here we are.
Yeah, and unfortunately, people are gonna lose their jobs. Is like that's what happens when these freaking big investors be buying shit, man. Everything becomes about the numbers. But it definitely wasn't because it was woke that game failed. That game just sucked. It is what it is. It was too generic. Tekken 8 got a release window. Nothing too crazy to say here, but I thought I'd bring it up for those who missed the news. January 26th, 2024. Will you be there day one, JG?
Yeah, I'll be on it. I'm gonna hope that Flock is too, because he hate on Street Fighter 6 so much and said that Tekken 8 is better, so he better be on it day one as well.
I really hope. I really wish when Tekken 8, like the day it comes out, they announce like Sagat DLC. Oh, I ain't playing Tekken no more.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Street Fighter 6 don't look that bad now, man. It don't look that bad, man.
I'm mad that man really hates on Street Fighter 6 because of one character. He hates on Street Fighter franchise because of one character that's not there day one.
What's the name? Do you care about Tekken, Ethos? And you're muted.
I said, yeah, I beat you at it.
That's a lot.
He still brings it up, bro. You
beat Nomad. You did not beat me, bro.
Yeah, I beat you. I beat you.
All right, well, make sure to get 8 so we can do it on stream. So we'll have
okay. Yeah, please fight each other because y'all bring up this argument.
Is Lucky Chloe in this? Is Lucky Chloe in this one?
Probably not.
She might be. Okay. We don't see the full roster yet, though.
Probably
man, I'm gonna have to rely on good old Lee then.
This is insane. These lies, this slander
appears
on the stream.
Only person that beat me at Tekken is Siggy, and he won't give me my set.
Damn.
Siggy playing a fighting game. That's how I know his story fraudulent. When did Siggy play a fighting game?
We randomly did it when we was in E3, and we played one. He beat me one match, and I said run it back the set, and he didn't run it back. He made excuses and walked away. So I was like, all right.
He knows how vivid memory it is, man. I don't think
remember this.
About beating you, bro.
Nomad remembers. I remember because me and Nomad were playing multiple sets against each other. I beat him a couple times. Then he played his main, and then he beat me. And then I played one time, you and I beat you.
Who did I play?
Who did you play?
Yeah, who did I play?
I don't fucking remember. You were playing to do that bet that's like boxes. I forgot his name.
Nah, now you remember.
Who did do that boxes?
Steve Fox. Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
This fraudulent Tekken fan. I don't know, man.
I'm sorry. I don't fucking remember all their names. I played a couple. I played Yoshimaru. I played Lee. I played Jin. I played who else was there? More Lee. I kicked a lot of people back in the day. That's what I used to do.
The comment section, like Tekken tournament. Freaking this was interesting news. This news that came out. Ubisoft apparently had a sequel for Immortals Phoenix Rising, and apparently it was going to be a mix of Elden Ring and Zelda Wind Waker. And apparently also with the sequel they wanted to explore another mythology. They wanted to do that with like all the sequels. So the original one was like a Greek one. Maybe they could have went to like Egypt, or they could have, I don't know, do like the God of War shit with their gods. This is heartbreaking news to me because this is probably like the last Ubisoft game I genuinely liked, and it flopped. It's on Game Pass if you haven't played it. It's called Immortals Phoenix Rising. It's like a mix between Breath of the Wild, Devil May Cry, and like Assassin's Creed, and it was fucking fire. And then on top of that, it had like a charm to it. Really good platforming, just good combat. I really enjoyed this game, but like nobody talked about it. They didn't really advertise it too well. Didn't you like it, Ethos?
I never played that.
Or was it Jay? I thought one of y'all played.
I played it. It was you and Nomad who really liked it. I think Siggy liked it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I thought this game was really good. I was like, damn, we could have got a sequel, man. That would have been nice.
That's your Titanfall.
Yep. Yeah, supposedly it would have stretched from New Zealand to Hawaii, but it's all good. I went to New Zealand for 2K, so I guess it's okay. It is what it is, man. Ubisoft, man. I wish I would make, I guess if it don't make no money, it don't make no sense. It's got to be Assassin's Creed. This one's funny. Did y'all know that there's a Stray movie in development?
Oh, the cat game?
Yeah, the Pussycat game from Aperna.
Lord.
Apparently, they are working on a film for the Stray game. And here's the weird thing about it. So, like, they interviewed the director, and he said that, because I was confused. So those of you who haven't played it, without spoiling it too much, obviously you're a cat and you can't talk. So what the game does is it uses a lot of environmental storytelling, and kind of the gist of the story is kind of figuring out like the downfall of humanity, because like these robots have kind of taken over society. It looks stupid, but it was actually a really good game. So I'm confused because the director said that this is going to be a comedy. And I'm like, there's nothing fucking funny about the game. Did y'all play Stray?
No. What was the game actually about, if you could summarize it?
A cat.
A cat.
That's it. It's a cat.
Unraveling what happened to society. You're basically learning about what happened to society from the robots that were programmed. They're like kind of like just giving you little bits and pieces that you had to piece together. No. So like apparently this is going to be some type of family-friendly comedy, which is funny because, by the way, there's an animal movie that just came out called Strays, I think, with an S, actually. It has a bunch of celebrities voicing animals, so this is going to be rather confusing. You guys going to pre-order this movie?
Hold on, wait. You can pre-order a movie this guy, bro. No.
You can't pre-order movies like on Fandango, like to secure a seat.
But it's funny how you said it though. It's a pre-order a movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game, so you know.
I know. That's why I'm like, all right, no, still no.
Well, maybe you could pre-order the movie or something like that. That's crazy. Y'all don't watch no movies either.
I know you're not talking. This dude got him a girl. He got him a lady to go see movies with. Now he a movie connoisseur.
Yeah. Before I don't got time to watch movies. I don't have time to watch movies. I don't have time to watch no thing.
Hold on. Now, if you would have told the correct story, I would have let it slide. I said I watch Marvel movies. This man, and you trust his memory, and I say I watch Marvel movies. This nigga said you ain't got time to watch. I ain't never said I don't got time to watch movies.
Yeah, you did.
I watch.
You didn't hear the rest of my statement. I said I don't have time to watch fake deep movies. That's what you said.
I saw Ninja Turtles without my girl. I saw Ninja Turtles without my girl.
He saw. Oh, look at that, JG. He's watching Ninja Turtles now. He's evolving. Like a Pokemon. He's on stage 2 right now.
No, I have a shirt. I have a picture of me when I was 2 years old in a Ninja Turtle shirt.
What was the last movie you watched that wasn't like a cartoon or like based off of like a comic book or anime or something like that?
Let's see, non-comic book movie.
Like something real, like Oppenheimer. Did you see Oppenheimer?
Nah, I never got around to seeing it. What's
all
the
right,
name? I saw Everything Everywhere All at
Barbie.
Once. Oh yeah, I saw Barbie. Yeah.
Oh, Barbie.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
That's based off of a toy. That's based off of a kid toy.
I didn't want to see that one.
That doesn't count. That's based off of a kid toy. Okay, outside of Barbie, because Barbie was a kid toy.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay, that was the last one you watched. Was that last year?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a long time.
You saw Barbarian.
I saw Barbarian. You're right. Yeah, you remember one freaking. To be fair though, how many good movies are out that are not fucking like action movies and shit? Bro?
A lot.
Like what?
A lot of good ones or not?
Name me some.
Did you watch Oppenheimer?
No, I told you I didn't get a chance to watch it. It's on the list to watch though. You gotta keep in mind that's a time investment. That shit is 3 hours.
Did you see John Wick?
It's 3 hours and then it's 30 minutes of fucking. I said non-action movies, bro.
Oh, but did you see John Wick?
No, you said your original. See how you keep shifting the goalposts?
I'm just asking.
Your original argument was no action movies.
I'm asking in general. Did you watch?
No, because I've never seen the other 3. So why would I watch 4?
You haven't seen any of them?
No.
Wow.
Oh damn, bro.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Tough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, keep shifting the goalposts. I still win.
Anywho.
Yeah, that's right.
This man don't watch nothing, bro.
Movie.
You didn't watch Fast X?
No, I did not watch Fast X, bro. Who the fuck watched that shit? I didn't watch Transformers either. I watched quality content.
Dude, trust Rotten Tomato reviews and stuff. You know they get paid to.
That's crazy.
What about this new South Park game? You guys interested in this new South Park game coming? It's 3D. It's coming on
the funny thing, I've never played any of the South Park games, but like people literally like say the South Park games are some of the best games they play.
Who said that? Who said that?
I've seen the people say that.
Stick of Truth in the sequel. They're good. They're good RPGs. They are. They're funny. You probably like those. But like, what other games are they talking about?
I mean, just these South Park games, but they said none of them were bad.
Yeah, the games.
This one is in 3D. Okay, co-op and multiplayer. We'll see.
It looks like some type of tower defense game. That's the reason why I'm like, about this.
I remember I used to play a South Park game. I forgot exactly what it was called, but it was on N64.
The one with the snowballs and the turkeys and shit.
Yeah,
I don't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. I had that game too.
Yeah, I played that game, so I wonder if they trying to go back to something like that.
The art style looks like it. Yeah,
it might be. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We need more info. They just kind of announced it. I wish they would give like full trailers and stuff like that. We finally got a confirmation that Ninja Turtles, since we're talking about it, Last Ronin has been confirmed. It was a rumor on a previous podcast, and now it's been confirmed. They are working on it. And my biggest question was, who is producing the game? Who's actually, because we know Paramount and Nickelodeon were publishing it, but who actually was creating the game? Who are they licensing out to, develop it? Black Forest Games is the name of the studio. I did my Googles. I'm going to go ahead and say, don't get too excited about this game. They don't really have anything that, I don't know. I'm pulling up their website, which is loading really slow. They did the remaster for Destroy All Humans 1 and 2. They did Fade. Those are remasters though. Fade to Silence. I don't know what that is. Gianna Sisters. I don't know what that is. Rogue Stormers. I don't know what that is.
Oh boy. That's a little concerning.
Yeah, so like they don't. I wouldn't get too hyped about this. For everybody listening, let's wait for a trailer to drop. I would say let's put it in the yellow. Let's wait for a trailer to drop because they don't really have like a real pedigree of making games. And to be honest, I don't know how they secured the rights to be able to develop such a big franchise as well as such a beloved storyline. So I'm not gonna get too excited about that. And then on top of that, I'm not gonna lie, the trailer kind of worried me when I first saw the Nickelodeon sign, because I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, I forgot fucking Nickelodeon owns Ninja Turtles now. I'm worried they might, because The Last Ronin is a mature, this game has to be, if it's not rated M, that's a red flag. When I first saw that Nickelodeon thing, I was like, they might try to make this like a kid's game. And I was like, I don't know, man, we'll see that. I don't know. Any thoughts on the confirmation?
I mean, it's cool that it got confirmed, but like I said, the red flags of the studio and Nickelodeon, this might end up being a flop and a waste of a good story.
Yes, sir. We want to see blood, carnage, fucking desolation. That's what we want to see. But I would not hold my breath. Let's move on to the social justice warrior section of the podcast. JG is our residential social justice warrior here on the show, and I got a couple topics for you. The first of which, Roblox recently had a press conference, and it was revealed that Roblox will be coming to the PlayStation, but also there will be an update that'll add something called Roblox Connect. Now, what's Roblox Connect? It will allow Roblox friends to call one another from within the app. So you know how basically you can call people from within Instagram, and I think you can do it on Twitter now too. Basically, you don't need somebody's phone number to call somebody. You can now also do that inside of Roblox, and when you call people, you have like your own little avatar, and you guys can just chat it up. So if you don't have any data, you can always use Roblox Connect to call your friends. What's your take on this, Jay? I'm pretty interested to hear what you think about this.
Who asked for this? This seems more like it's in the realm of pedos going on Minecraft, like and getting little kids to do crazy things. Like, I don't see this being a good thing. It says here in the article that they use an example of a mom who called her daughter and asked her daughter to jump on a game with her. Now, I want to ask you all, does that sound realistic?
Which, what makes it worse and more concerning? In the same press conference, the CEO of Roblox also said that it's a possibility they'd venture into dating as well.
Man, I know. I saw that too, and I was like, this is spelling disaster. Like, we don't need these types of things. Like, can Roblox just stay as a video game? Like, I understand it has an entire ecosystem now, and there are games that can be made using an engine, but I don't think that features, and I say that Lucy, features like this should be implemented into any video game. Like, we don't need this at all. And again, the example that they use is terrible. And if we're trying to bring dating into Roblox, like, what are we doing here? That makes literally no sense. Because on the contrary, I mean, I may be wrong because I obviously can't see the numbers, but I don't think that there are more adults on playing Roblox compared to kids, because this is at its core.
And the adults who are on it, you should be worried about.
Exactly. and that again brings me to my point of, why should adults on Roblox need features like this to talk to your kids? This is going to be something that I'm going to not even introduce my daughter to or my son when he's on the way, because this ain't it at all.
Yeah, I get the sentiment behind it. It's the way things work is they're trying to find ways to get people to spend more time on their platform, because the more time people spend on the platform, the more ads they can serve. So I'm going to predict they're going to serve ads within this little somewhere in the telephone call or whatever. The problem is, and this is why I even brought this article up, I wanted to see if you could see where I was going with this. I brought this article up for the listeners. If you got children, nieces, and nephews, you better watch for this fucking update, bruh, because we already know top 5 most pedophile communities: Minecraft, Roblox, Smash Bros. What's the other 2? Fucking, I don't know. That's top 3.
You said Minecraft?
Yeah, I said Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft number 1, bro.
Minecraft again.
Minecraft number 1, Roblox number 2.
Number 3, Minecraft.
Pokemon's up there too.
Oh yeah, Pokemon.
Put that in the top 5. Roblox got a lot of pedos in the fucking community, so I brought this article up for our listeners who got kids or little nieces and nephews. You better watch they ass when this fucking shit comes out on this game, bro, because to me, this is a problem, dog. Like I said, the adults that play this shit, you cannot trust them, bro. So just be aware, it's coming. That's why I put it on there. I just wanted to see what Jay was gonna see if he caught it. He caught it. So, yeah. Ew. And then, last but not least, for the social justice warrior section, this tweet, it came under, so like I made a post, I posted a video talking about the microtransactions and how much it's going to cost in NBA 2K. And then somebody replied with something interesting, and I just wanted to hear y'all take on this. He replied and he said the ESRB needs to factor microtransactions into their game ratings. A game should not be rated E for everyone if the game encourages you to throw hundreds of dollars at it gameplay advantages. So he's saying basically any game with heavy microtransactions should be rated T and above. How do y'all feel about that?
You know what? Okay, because 2K is rated E, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They added the ratings though, and on the ESRB sticker. It's supposed to. It also adds and tells you if there's microtransactions in the game.
No, not display there are microtransactions. I think what he's trying to say is like if you go into GameStop and he's saying like it should be rated teen. So if or mature. So if you're below a certain age, you shouldn't be able to buy a game that has heavy microtransactions. I think that's what he's arguing.
That's a slippery slope, because what if it's what if it was like Mass Effect 3? Or that game is rated M. What if it forgot about the other stuff. Okay, well what if you're playing a game that's like has a single player campaign or a co-op campaign that has no main transactions in it, but it has a multiplayer that does?
Yeah, I'm not saying I agree with it. I was just bringing it up to see what y'all was going to say.
I think here's the other factor, because it's a two-parter here. He's not just saying if a game has microtransactions. He's saying if a game has microtransactions for gameplay advantages. And I think that's a huge difference. Like, we're not talking about Fortnite here where there are no gameplay advantages for you getting microtransactions or getting the season pass. He's talking about games like 2K that if you legit buy in-game currency, you can get a gameplay advantage over someone who just decides to grind from level 60. And I would have to say I do agree with them. I think that maybe there should be an extra rating or warning to parents or
pay to win on the box.
Yeah. I mean, just think about that though. I mean, even though people can't read, and we clearly can see that people can't read, but if the warning was at least there and people could legit see it, do you think that, that might change things? And, a parent might be like, hey, I don't want to get you this game because you might feel compelled to buy microtransactions because you want an advantage over somebody else, or just because the sole reason of you want a gameplay advantage over somebody else. I mean, maybe that could change things, but I don't know. Maybe it could at least just be a warning and just let people know that, hey, this game is pay to win.
Yes and no. It depends on where. First of all, it has to blatantly say, which I don't think it will. It'll be some pseudo way of saying it, but it would have to blatantly say this game is pay to win. And then it has to take up a good amount of real estate on the box. And we know that's not going to happen, because let's say it's like, say like a game like Starfield, like a company like Bethesda is not going to want that all over that. So they'll probably either take the fucking microtransactions out, or they'll just do a digital only release. Cause I mean, I don't think that would be an issue. It'd only be like a box art thing. So I was like, I'm kind of indifferent about that. The sentiment is good, but it's like, I don't see it actually working in the real world. It's like, and then here's another thing too. It would have to be blatant on the box too. Cause once again, it goes back to what you were saying, like motherfuckers don't read. But then they're not going to go for all that real estate on the box being taken by a big sign that says pay to win. So I was like, I don't think that'll work in the real world.
I think what they need to do, which seems realistic, is you need to have, and I think Xbox does this, or I'm pretty sure Sony and Xbox do this. they need to make it where it's a requirement for all games that if you release a game on our platform and it has microtransactions in it, regardless if it's pay to win or not, like if it's just skins or whatever it is, you have to be tied. It has to be tied to first an account that is 18 years or older. If it's not, then it requires a parental setting where the parents will have to approve every purchase that happens on the said account. That's the best way I think that you solve this problem. Then, you could still buy whatever games you want, but if they go to like 2K and they try to buy VC, the parent has to be the one that approves the purchase and not the kid.
Who's going to implement this system though? Because 2K is not going to do this to themselves.
No,
that would fuck their money up.
The owners of the consoles. No, so Steam.
The owners of the consoles.
The ESRB would have to go to like Sony and Xbox and tell them you need to implement this system.
No, it wouldn't even be that. It would be the console manufacturers would put this within the system of their consoles. That how you already have parental tools on the Xbox, right? Like you can limit how much like a kid can play on their Xbox, or you can limit like how they can have access to certain things, or can they use voice chat? Like you can do these things they've added these things over the past couple years. They need to add something similar to that, but in the guise of if a game has microtransactions in it and they go into that place where they're checking out to buy that thing, it checks and verifies the profile that's doing it. And if it is a kid's account, they cannot do it without adult, which they would have to set up on the Xbox, approving it through some code or some verification to say, yes, I approve my this purchase, which is technically supposed to be what is supposed to be happening. I don't think like kids
I like that idea, and it would be nice, but in the real world, I just don't see it working. Because here's another.
I mean, in the real world,
trust me, I would love to block 2K's pocket, so I love the idea. The issue is I don't think it would work because I mean, think about it. I don't know about y'all, but like I remember I think it was like a 360 for like Christmas or some shit like that. And I think Halo 3 might have been one of my first games. And I remember I just plugged it in, made my account. My parents didn't look at my shit. Like, how many parents are actually looking at the kid's console? Maybe 5%.
That comes down to personal responsibility.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It still comes down to personal responsibility.
You should still do it. But you should still do it. Like
you should still do it. But most parents are not going to look at the console, implement those settings, and then on top, they're just going to let the kid do it. And here's the thing: the kid's going to know.
Charges their credit card. If their kid charges a credit card for $200, and they're like, "What the fuck is this on my credit card?" I guarantee you, they'll look at that.
But no, you're missing the point. I'm saying once the kid gets the console, most parents are not going to look at what the kid is doing, and you don't think that kid, when he's signing up for Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus, he's gonna fucking lie? Nigga, I know I did. I still lie about my age when I fucking go on Steam because I'm so used to doing it from when I'm a kid. I'm saying
all I'm saying is your parents. That's just because your parents weren't technologically, I'm assuming, weren't into like understanding of that area.
So you think our generation would be more in tune?
I think if as parents, or for example JG, right? JG knows his shit, so I'm pretty sure if JG gives his daughter something like that a Switch, he has parental settings set on that so that like she can't do certain things or can't access it. I would do that if I had a kid. I would do the exact same thing. Here's the issue. I would control it because I know what it was like growing up with certain things. I'd be like, yeah, a kid does not need to be
under the assumption most people are tech savvy. They're not. I talk to a lot of normies. They're not.
I know.
They're not.
I know.
People our age, they're not.
But there are ways that you can teach them, right? There are ways that you can expand on this, right? Like everybody wasn't every normie wasn't a technological head when it came to when they started digital, right? When they started doing digital not checks anymore, right? When we were sending money through Cash App, right? That was a whole thing, right? And people were like, why don't I just send checks anymore? But people adapted and got used to it. It's the same thing. I think they just need to do that. That would be the best case. Or just because what's going to happen is, this is my take, parents are going to start realizing how bad this is, right? When they start hitting their pockets, they're going to complain to the government, and then the government's going to step in, and they're going to be the ones that are going to require the console manufacturers or whoever to provide this additional information. That's why the ESRB exists. That's literally why it exists. It did not exist before, and then people bitched and complained about violence in video games and stuff, and boom, the ESRB came into reality as a result of that. And that's why GameStop can get fined if they sell games to people who are under 18. Like they can get into legal problems if they get caught.
There's one thing you're underestimating here, Ethos. Back when the ESRB was created, big fun fact, was because of Mortal Kombat. That was back when our country had morals and principles, and people went to church. People don't go to church anymore, so it's not going to work. There's going to be no laws passed. It's a bunch of heathens. That's the problem. Gluttony. But I think that's an interesting conversation. I'm actually curious to see what people say in the comment section if you're watching the YouTube version at youtube.com/GI updates. Do you think video games, at least like the hard copies, I mean, even on the digital storefront, do you think there should be something plastered, like a new rating saying this game is pay to win? I want to see what people say in the comment section.
Who determines if it's pay to win?
We got see.
Who determines
the ESRB? The ESRB, because the ESRB is an independent governing body. It's not ran by
Right, but you're putting your trust in a random person to tell you if the game is pay to win.
So here's another thing. There's got to be like maybe like a new pay to win or some type of microtransaction commission or some shit. I don't know.
Like, are you gonna do a commune by the gamers and they all just sit down and decide?
Jury duty, baby. Like jury duty, you get called in as a gamer. Yeah. So do you think this game is pay to win? Yes.
Fucking yes.
That's fucking interesting. Shit. If that's all I got on the show notes. Y'all got anything else y'all want to add to it before we wrap it up?
That's it. No, that was a good conversation.
Perfect timing too. All right, well,
Perfect.
Ethos has to go, so because he's got a nerd tournament to play in. Before you leave, what is your closing statement on episode 146 of the Gaming Illuminati podcast?
Yeah, I actually want to give a shout out to the random Best Buy employee that recognized me last week when I was trying to buy some shit. I was trying to buy a SD card for my Steam Deck, and he was like, "You remind me of somebody." I was like, "Oh fuck!" It's like, I was like, "Who?" We were like, "This guy named Gaming Ethos." I said, "Yeah, that's me." Here I am at like fucking 11 o'clock in the morning trying to buy a damn SD card and some HDMI cords. But shout out to you. Appreciate you holding it down at the Best Buy. Hey, give me some deals next time I show up there.
Discount.
Yeah, if you're listening, appreciate you guys.
For sure. JG, you got the show floor. What is your closing statement for episode 146? Go.
Hey man, it's unfortunate. 2K community still a bunch of losers. Oh, you all get it together one day. I felt like TBH when the Tekken community attacked him because he called him losers for like he called him losers for like 2 or 3 pods straight. So it's my turn now. It's my turn. 2K community, bunch of losers. I hope you all get it together. Seriously, please vote with your wallet. I promise you, it's not as hard as you think it is. You do have the power to make 2K change, but unfortunately it's not. So I'm just talking to a brick wall at this point. But keep giving me impressions. Apparently I'm broke, so keep giving me impressions so I won't be broke anymore.
Shit don't offend me. Most of them 2K niggas is losers, bro. So whatever, bro. When I was streaming the game the first day, somebody came in there. He's like, "Why are you making that build?" I'm making a build that suits me and my friend group and our play style, you bitch ass nigga, bro. I paid $70 for the fucking game. Why are you so mad about my fucking build? It ain't for you, nigga. Why is this weird?
I have a question. Real quick. JG, how are you considered pocket watching when the person literally pulled his pockets out and showed you his money? I was just confused. That was what shocked me. How are people calling you a pocket watcher?
It's like niggas who don't. It's like niggas who don't know the definition of snitch. They just changing the word, the definition of the word.
It would make sense if like he posted that like I'm ready for 2K, and I said that like just with no context, but he literally posted what he did, and I'm pocket watching. That's
pocket watching is when you go into a Subway, which I don't know why you would, but let's say you go into a Subway and you ask the person making your sandwich, "How much you make an hour?" That is pocket watching, bro. But if a nigga tells you how much he spent, that's not pocket. That's you displaying info, bro.
You displaying your wealth, yeah. And now I'm gonna clown you for it, yeah.
They were just like, "Oh, he gonna make it back, man. He gonna make it back." I was like, okay, so I don't care if he makes it back in a day, a month, 9 months. It's still bad, bro. It's not an investment. Y'all can call it whatever you want. It's a bad person. It's a waste of money.
And that's a 1% person out of thousands of other people who are not good at 2K.
I'm gonna save that for all stream because that's debatable, being a 1%. But anyways,
you think there's more that are actually good enough to win money off of 2K?
Well, we're talking about him making it back as him being a 1%.
You're talking about a 0.01%.
That's debatable. I think good. Yeah, I think niggas don't know economics. Anyways, my last statement before we wrap this podcast up is: if you made it this far into the show and you're watching the video version at youtube.com/GI updates, leave in the comment section #pay-to-win. Other than that, make sure to hit the like button, rate the show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify if you're listening there, and join the Discord at discord.gg/GI updates and our social medias. They're all in the links below in the description box. Other than that, we will see you guys on the next episode of the Gaming Illuminati podcast. Peace.